Ok anh ơi, anh kiểm tra xem anh có khóa tiếp cái gì không mà bây giờ nhiều người không join được ấy. Anh thấy anh ơi, à đây. Alo anh Thành ạ.
Đâu câu ở tại quán.
À dạ vâng ạ, em chào anh.
Đây rồi. Three, two, camera. Ở nhà nghe rõ không không ạ?
Có, em nghe rõ rồi ạ.
Vâng vâng, bây giờ vâng thì tốt rồi. Đây, anh Thành đang chuẩn bị, anh chị chờ khoảng 5 phút 50 phút ạ.
Vâng.
Bạn ơi cho mình hỏi một chút là có bao nhiêu đầu cầu tham gia vào cái hội thảo trực tuyến này hả bạn?
Alo, thực ra em cũng không biết đâu, tại vì còn có cả các panelist khác và các attendee ạ. Cũng
À, à,
khoảng trên dưới 100 ạ.
khoảng trên dưới 100 chứ. Ok ok, ngon rồi. Bởi vì mình sợ ít quá đến lúc báo cáo sai thì chết. Đây, đại sứ là sẽ opening remarks đây.
Hello, can you hear me?
Chị Giang ơi, đang live ạ.
Chị biết rồi, chị đang test thử nghe được đúng không?
Hi everyone, so our seminar will start in a few minutes. Make sure your network connection is stable, and then to ensure the quality of the seminar, we will turn off all the sounds of the participants. And if you have any questions to discuss, please raise your hand or send a message to the chat box, and our secretary will summarize it and send to the speaker. So we shall start the seminar now. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claire, and I'm the coordinator of business development services from Vietnam Software and IT Service in association called short for VINASA. So it's my pleasure to be the MC and moderator for our webinar today on Vietnam Australia ICT cooperation. Thank you so much for your time joining this event. And it is an activity to connect business between Vietnam and Australia in the field of ICT. It is the event collaborated by VINASA and Vietnam Trade Office in Australia, also in accordance with Australian Trade and Investment Commission, Austrade, Australian Information Industry Association, AIIA, Victorian Government, Trade and Investment Southeast Asia, in order to support Vietnamese companies in doing business with Australian markets. So for all the participants, I would like for you to wave hand or send a series of number 2 in our chat to express our greetings to our distinguished guests when I raise their names. So first of all, I would like to introduce and welcome from Australia, Mr. Nguyễn Tất Thành. He is the ambassador of Vietnam. Mr. Nguyễn Phú Hòa, the head of Vietnam Trade Office in Australia and Deputy Consul General. Mr. Ron Gauchi, the CEO of AIIA, the Australian Information Industry Association. Mr. Chris Hunter, the market lead from Southeast Asia region of Victorian Government and Trade Investment. And from Vinasa, I would like to introduce Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang. She's the Vice Chairwoman and General Secretary of Vinasa. And the participation of companies from Australia and Vietnam. So our seminar might last up to 90 minutes with an overview of the ICT industry in both Australia and Vietnamese markets, cooperation opportunities between two countries, and the experience sharing from distinguished speakers. And afterwards, we'll have a Q&A section. Besides the seminar, we also have an online booth with chat and voice connection with Vietnamese businesses that at the official website, you can visit at vbm.vinasa.org.vn, and cooperation activities, suppliers, and customer can register and meet directly with our Vietnamese business during the event from August 10th to 13th. It's a great honor to invite you and all the company's members to join and connect with our Vietnamese businesses. So to begin with, I would like to invite Mr. His Excellency Mr. Nguyễn Tất Thành. He's the ambassador of Vietnam. Also Mr. Nguyễn Phú Hòa, the head of Vietnam Trade Office in Australia, the Deputy Consul General, to give the welcome speech. So please welcome.
I speak now? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang, Secretary General of Vinasa, distinguished guests representing business people from both Australia and Vietnam. I'm trying to translate my prepared remarks from Vietnamese into English. So I'm just afraid I cannot be as fast as I want, but I'll be very short anyway. I'm very pleased to join our very important seminar today, given the complicated developments related to COVID-19. I believe that our whole world is trying to adapt to the new normals, whereby some people prefer to call it, for the IT industry, the next normals. From the start of the year, I heard a lot of people calling it the next normals. I don't know really what they are, but we are experiencing a new period. Whatever the stage we are in, I believe that information technology and digital transformation play a key role. So from my viewpoint, I'd like to share with you 4 realities, or you may say 4 new changes in our world today. Firstly, yes, we are living in a stage in the new time, digital transformation and digital economy. As a member of the Communist Party of Vietnam, have the honor to join the party congress early this year. I'd like to share with you that in the main document of the Communist Party Congress, we mentioned digital economy and digital transformation a lot of time, from 7 to 5 times. So we are aware of the issue that we are coping with today. With regard to Australia, I believe that in 2018, the government of Australia adopted Vision 2025, or what you call digital transformation strategy, whereby Australia wants to become one of the top 3 countries in the world in terms of digital government. It's a very good strategy set out by the Australian government. In order to materialize all these ideas and strategies, I believe that we need information technology, and we need strengthened cooperation between and among business people. The second point I'd like to share is related to spending on IT. I read a report issued last June by Gartner, and I understand that last year, despite of the COVID situation in the world, IT spending increased by 0.9%. But based on Gartner forecast, IT spending would be increasing by 8.6% this year. In terms of software, it will be increasing by 13.2%, and in terms of IT services by 9.8%. These are very, very important figures got to bear in mind. And it seems to me that the more we are experiencing social distancing or quarantine, the more we got to spend for IT. That's one of the facts of life. The third fact is that during this time, international cooperation becomes even more important. I'd like to share with you a number of very important documents which were concluded last year or earlier this year. In particular, the Digital Economic Partnership Agreement concluded between Chile, New Zealand, and Singapore, and the Digital Economy Agreement between Australia and Singapore. I've been involved in some negotiations of the free trade agreements, and I know for sure that the standards in terms of IT in these documents are much higher than those in the FTAs. And I also believe that countries around the world, such as Japan, UK, European Union, or even the United States, might be interested in concluding or similar agreements or joining the existing agreements. And Vietnam is no exception. I think all of these documents are aimed at facilitating business cooperation and facilitating digital economy in our countries. Number 4, the fourth fact in regard to bilateral cooperation between Vietnam and Australia. You know that late last year, we signed a plan of action to implement the strategic partnership for 2020-2023. We set up the strategic partnership in 2018, but only in 2020 it could come up with a very good action plan, which include 3 pillars, namely economic, political cooperation, security and defense, and the third pillar is innovation. All of these 3 pillars incorporate a lot of elements related to digital economy and IT. And for the time being, both governments are trying to push up our efforts with regard to concluding a new document, what we call enhanced economic engagement strategy. I strongly hope that the leaders of two countries could witness the signing of the document sometime in October or November. But they have pledged to conclude that agreement as soon as possible. And in this document, which I got only a draft, a lot of IT elements are incorporated. One of the priorities for cooperation between the two countries in the years to come. So that's the four facts I would like to share with you from my view. And the only thing is that it seems to me, I don't know very much about IT cooperation between businesses or between the two countries. But I believe that there remain a lot of things that can be done. We've got a lot of potential to tap into. And this is the time, it is the opportunities that are presented to the business people of the two countries. And I strongly hope that seminars like this and more will be held more regularly so that you could get more people to our meeting. And, we got, I would like to share with you that you got the very strong support from government of Vietnam as well as from the government of Australia. I would like to thank you and wish you a lot of success for the seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tang, for your wonderful speech. So next up, I would like to invite Mr. Ron Gauchi, the CEO of AIIA, to have some words on his welcome ceremony. Please.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much, everyone. To our distinguished guests and delegates, good to meet you online, and welcome everyone to this business summit. Today you'll hear from several speakers. You already heard from one, but you'll hear from several speakers about the opportunities that lay before you to expand your network and your opportunities, particularly across the two countries. You will receive information that'll enable you to make informed decisions about where the opportunities are between our two countries and our economies. Both countries are experiencing economic growth, and from there will be certain opportunities that you'll hear about. There's no question that the benefits of working together are significant. Use this opportunity provided by VNASA to expand your network, explore partnerships, and also pursue business opportunities. In Australia, the economic, based on the growth of our economy, the ICT industry is one of the fastest growing economies in Australia, but also the ICT industry impacts agriculture, mining, education, and all the other health main industries as well. So technology plays a significant part there, and particularly the shortage of skills we have, the agenda from our federal government to explore digitisation and become a digitised economy by 2030. Our leadership position in AI and also our play in cybersecurity means that there are opportunities there for Vietnamese organisations in Australia and Australian organisations offshore as well. You'll also be given the opportunity to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you won't create an opportunity. So I encourage you to put your hand up and certainly use that opportunity. And then, of course, after the event, we would welcome you to reach out to us in whatever form you deem appropriate, and we look forward to working with you. Enjoy the session, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Ron. Last but not least, I would like to very welcome Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang. She is the Vice Chairwoman and also the General Secretary of VNASA, to start out officially our seminar today.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of VNASA, the organizer of this seminar. I would like to thank you very much to spend your time to attend the seminar today. And I really hope that it will bring you some good information and will support for the cooperation between Vietnam and Australian company. And yeah, my special thanks to AWIA, to the embassies of Vietnam, the Trade Consular of Vietnam, and Ostrom, the Trade Promotion Agency of Victoria State, to support VINASA to organize these activities. So yeah, as you may know that in Vietnam, the revenue of ICT industry here last year in 2020 is 120 billion US dollars. The software, among that, software take more than software and IT service is more than 11 billion US dollars. And the software industry and IT industry takes 14.7% of the GDP of Vietnam. And it is now considered the biggest industry in the economy of Vietnam. But I think that Vietnam and Australian companies still have a lot of potential cooperation. But at the moment, there are still not big corporations yet. So this is the first time NASA organize these activities, and we really hope that we can do these activities yearly in cooperation with AWIA, with the embassy, with Australia, and yeah, other Australian partners to introduce to you the cooperation opportunities with Vietnam IT industry. So I really hope that yeah, today is just the first time, but we will try to provide you with as much information as we can. So enjoy the seminar, and I really hope that yeah, this can open much cooperation after this first step. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Zhang. So, ladies and gentlemen, in order to give you an overall understanding view of the Vietnamese ICT industry and the trend of ICT in Vietnam, please pay attention to your screen with a video of Vietnamese ICT industry in 2021 that VINASA has recently made. Yeah, enjoy.
Located in the heart of Southeast Asia, an emerging market with more than 600 million population, Vietnam is considered as one of the dynamic and fastest growing countries all over the world. IT industry is regarded as an important infrastructure and one of the biggest driving factors to the development of Vietnam.
According to the Ministry of Information and Communications report, in 2020, Vietnam's ICT revenue approximated 120 billion US dollars and would reach 131 billion US dollars at the end of 2021. The hardware industry reported 107 billion US dollars, and the software and IT services industry reached 13 billion US dollars. The annual growth rate ranges between 15 and 20%, 3 times higher than the growth rate of GDP. There are about 47,000 IT enterprises with 1.3 million employees, including 250,000 software engineers. Currently, Vietnam has 149 universities, 412 IT vocational schools, providing more than 62,000 technologies engineers annually, and spending much effort for the target of 1 million software engineers. IT is now having a special focus by the Vietnamese government and considered as a crucial infrastructure of all other infrastructures. a driving force for socio-economic development, particularly from 2021 to 2030, the period of national comprehensive digital transformation.
Structure 1 billion bandwidth, to 100% completion graph, 357 international fiber optic cables. Vietnam, together with Singapore, are the first two countries that launched a commercial 5G system in Southeast Asia. Vietnam has over 140 million mobile phone subscribers and is among the world's top 20 countries of highest number of internet users and top 10 countries having cheapest internet costs in the world.
Vietnamese IT businesses presently account for 80% of domestic market, providing solutions and services for both government and private sector. Export of IT services takes 40% of software revenues, with three main targeted markets of the USA, Japan, and European countries. It is now fast expanding, providing services for Korea, Chinese Taipei, and Australia. Besides traditional services like coding and testing, cooperation on system design, R&D, technologies such as AI, cloud, big data, IoT, blockchain, VR, AR are rising fast.
According to the Australian Trade and Commerce Report, Vietnam is ranked the third in Southeast Asia on startups market with 3,000 enterprises from 20 economies driven by startups. Number of startups supporting organizations are also increasing quickly, with 23 business promotion organizations, nearly 50 incubators, 40 venture investment funds, and over 170 holding spaces.
E-commerce and fintech are two fast-growing areas, attracting leading startups and investment capital innovation. In 2020, Vietnamese e-commerce market grew 18% to 11.8 while the number of fintech companies in Vietnam is nearly 4 times over that of 2016, reporting approximately 9 billion from 150 businesses. Startups are encouraged in agriculture, tourism, medical, and education.
In 2020, the Prime Minister of Vietnam approved the National Digital Foundation Program to the year 2025 with orientation to 2030 with three main pillars: digital government, digital economy, and digital society. Targets by 2030, 80% of top level online public services, 100% of national databases are integrated on e-government platforms. Digital economy accounts for 20% of GDP. Top 50 Global Competitiveness Index, GCI, Top 35 Global Innovation Index, GII, universalizing smartphones for people to access online services. Currently, digital transformation is being mentioned everywhere in Vietnam. Vietnamese businesses ranging from SMEs to big corporations are focusing on investing heavily in the application of digital technologies to create competitive advantages. Meanwhile, the government is making great strides in building a digital government with a series of national databases being established, and the proportion of online public services has increased rapidly. Vietnam is currently ranked 86th in the e-government and the top 25 global cybersecurity index (GCI). More than 40 provinces in Vietnam are carrying out a smart cities building plan.
In recent years, Vietnam has always been in the top 10 most attractive countries for providing IT services in the world. Vietnam is also the second largest IT trusted partner of Japanese enterprises. Vietnam is being evaluated as the #1 destination for shifting of the global supply chain. Foxconn was from luxury from which are the vendors of Apple, Sony, Google, Microsoft, the world's largest technology corporation, have chosen Vietnam to build their manufacturing factories. Besides, Vietnam is also emerging as a technology R&D sector of the world. Samsung invests $200 million R&D sector targeted to reach 1,000 engineers by 2022. Qualcomm introduced their first ASEAN R&D center in Hanoi. Kraft has an operations center in Ho Chi Minh City. LG, Panasonic, but are also continuing their R&D centers in Vietnam. Vietnam has advantages in large number of technology enterprises, up to 47,000 companies, and rising rapidly. Besides, Vietnam also has an abundant IT human resources of 250,000 software engineers who are highly qualified, especially in new technologies such as AI, big data, cloud, IoT. According to HackerBank, Vietnamese programmers are ranked second among ASEAN countries and 23rd in the top 50 countries with the best programmers in the world. Vietnamese IT engineers are among the first and rare to receive Google's Advanced TensorFlow AI certification and GE Predix IoT certification. Universities and training centers are also making great efforts to target to become the center of AI human resources and R&D in the region and the world.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. And I think after the video, you guys must have an overview on Vietnam ICT industry. And now we'll give you some information about potential collaboration opportunities between Vietnamese and Australian ICT industry. I would like to invite Mr. Đỗ Thanh Bình, the representative from VINASA, to deliver a speech on this issue. So Mr. Bình, please take the stage.
Okay, thank you, Claire. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bing from VINASA. So today I'm quite happy to be here and talk about the potential cooperation opportunities between Australian and Vietnamese ICT industry. Okay, so as you may already know, Vietnam has so many strengths, especially in the ICT industry. First of all, we have highly skilled and motivated labor force, and Vietnam is also considered a politically stable and fast-growing economy. Vietnam is also standing in the top 3 fastest-growing telecommunication market in Asia. And last but not least, Vietnam is an ideal destination for startups. So for the details, you may see the index and the figures right below later. So here are some famous analysts in the world and what they say about Vietnam and the ICT industry in Vietnam. For example, A.T. Kearney says that Vietnam stands at the number 5 in the most attractive global service location in the world. Gartner recognized Vietnam as a Tier 1 emerging offshore services location in APAC. Collins also said that Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi are among the top 25 emerging global associate cities in the world. KPMG said Vietnam is an attractive destination for IT outsourcing service thanks to its young and highly trainable labor force, a competitive cost structure, and a stable business environment. JLL says Vietnam has highly potential cities such as Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi as the world's most dynamic cities. So as you know, during the COVID-19 situation nowadays, the businesses in the world and also in Vietnam are moving from offline to online environment. So you can see this is a survey of the Southeast Asia of the new users of internet from the 2015 to 2021. 2020. So as you can see from the 2015 to 2019, the number raises about 100 million in 4 years. But in just 1 year, from 2018 to 2020, it raises from 360 to 400 million, and that is a huge number. So we can see that people are now moving online in a quite huge number, and this can help improve our ICT industry, not only in Vietnam, but also in the region and in the world. So here is the headlines for mobile, internet, and social user in Vietnam nowadays. So Vietnam has a population of about 97.75 million. The urbanization ratio is about 37.7%. Mobile connection is about 54 million, and it accounts for 157.9% of the population. The internet users of Vietnam is approximately 68.72 million, and that is about 70% of the population. And active users, media users of Vietnam is about 72 million, and that accounts for 73.7% of the population. So you can see that all of the figures here are very high, and that is a huge potential for the cooperation in ICT industry. So here you can see the IT labor force in Vietnam nowadays. It is you can hear from the video, the ICT labor force of Vietnam nowadays is over 1 million people, including software, hardware, digital content, and IT services together. And you can see that this is a quite competitive number comparing to the countries, economies in the region and in the world. Here are the number of average salary for technology platform selected positions, and it varies from the very high positions like CTO, CIO, the director, to IT help desk or technical support. And you can see that also here the number is very competitive compared to other economies in the region. This is a survey from Vinasa in the past 2 years of the average monthly salary of software engineers in selected countries. You can see Vietnam here in the first row of senior managers, middle managers, and 3 years experience, as well as graduated employees. They have quite competitive salary compared to other economies and countries in the region. Now I would like to talk about the IT trends and movements in Vietnam nowadays. So in digital trends, you can focus on 3 trends nowadays. The first one would be digital transformation. Second thing is smart cities, and the last one is new technology, especially AI. Now I will talk about the incentives from the government for the IT industry and IT businesses. So in Vietnam, the government gives out a lot of incentive policies for the ICT enterprises. For example, about the tax exemption and reduction, abolishing tax, preferential tax rate, ICT parks, and about the discount of the fee that the ICT industry have to pay. In details, about software development, the government give out like 10% tax rate in 15 years, 0 tax for 4 years, and give a discount of about 50% in the next 9 years since having the taxable income. Also, we have preferential personal income tax for people working in the software industry. We have 0 of value-added tax for software products and services, and 0% import tax for materials directed use in the software production, 0% export tax for the software products. And software parks in Vietnam also have good internet access with preferential fees for enterprises operation inside. Also, about tax on ICT, the government is abolishing import and export tax for IT electronics products and decreasing the import and export tax rate for spare components within ASEAN. So that is about the tax. Now is about the cooperation opportunities between Vietnam and other economies. Here we talk about cooperation opportunities between Vietnam and Australia. So here are the 4 things, the 4 factors that Vietnamese ICT industry is needing right now. The first factor is e-government toward digital government. Second thing is smart city. Next is digital transformation, and last one is new technologies training. So you can see that these are the things that Vietnamese ICT industry is needing right now. So you can focusing on these four factors when you want to demand for cooperation between your country to Vietnam. And about the opportunities, first of all, you can set up your office in Vietnam. These will create many opportunities for you. Like you can take advantage of the talented human resource in Vietnam, like I said before. You can enjoy the incentive from the government about the tax, about the discount. You can accelerate businesses with big market in Vietnam. So you know Vietnam has about 97 million people, and most of them are in golden population age. The most important thing is this is maybe a step to expand into the ASEAN big market of about 600 million people. So here are some of the potential cooperation scopes that you might want to know about software and IT services. First of all, it is about human resources, and also about new tech trends like AI, IoT, blockchain, cloud, etc. We can cooperate also in web and mobile apps design, about outsourcing, about product distributes, and R&D. So those are the scopes that can create potential cooperation between our countries. Last list, let me give you a brief information about VNASA, Vietnam Software and IT Services Association. So VNASA is a non-government and non-profit organization established in 2002. Nowadays, we have about 450 members, including 70% of the revenue of the ICT industry and 65% of the workforce of the industry. So VNASA is now carrying out some of the activities like here. The first thing is the BDS, Business Development Services, training and HR development, promotion, PR and marketing, business investment consulting and researching, support and accelerate startup, VNASA Connect, research and promote for technologies application, policy consulting, building and lobbying. So those are the scopes that VNASA is very active on. So if you want to cooperate with VNASA in any of those factors, you can contact me via the contact here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bing. It's a pleasure to hear your presentation. So next up, I would like to invite Mr. Bùi Đình Duy. He's the Chief Delivery Officer at FPT Australasia to give a speech on a glimpse into Vietnamese IT resources, the skill sets, and our culture. So Mr. Bùi Đình Duy, could you please?
Thank you. Can you give me the right to share the content?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we do. Yes, we can.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Duy Bùi. I'm in charge of delivery for FPT in Australia and New Zealand markets. And today it's my pleasure to be here to give you a glimpse into Vietnam IT resources, focusing on our skill sets and our cultures. Okay. Firstly, let's take a overview of Vietnam IT resources. So I believe that in the previous slide from Mr. Bing, you already know that Vietnam IT resources and Vietnam country is a very high ranked global indexes or competency tech assessment platform. But the numbers that we got from some market research and report from the ministries of education in Vietnam. At this moment, we have about 430,000 IT engineers, mean the software engineers. And every year we have about 55,000 IT students. Graduated. I'm sorry, something. And there's a very high number, but it's still not enough for the demand of the market at this moment, because in the last few years, the demands of the IT resources in Vietnam is growing very fast, dramatically, and we are still in lack of the IT resources for the markets. And as estimated for this year, 2021, we are still in lacking of more than 100,000 IT workers for Vietnam market, and it will be projected to be increased to 150,000 in next year. And this will, get Vietnam government to more encourage and investment into the training for the university to train the IT students, like FPT University or some new other university in Vietnam. Okay, so take a look at these personas of the Vietnam software developers, ranging from the 20 to 34 years old. This is the golden age of the population, and most of the IT software developers in Vietnam are in millennials generation, and in very soon, in next few years, the next generation, we call it Gen Z, will be joining the IT markets. And they are very young people, young developers joining the market. So it's quite easy to understand that the years of experience of the developers yes, still quite less, and the number of juniors is more than the middle or senior numbers. And the location or distribution of the IT resources in Vietnam, you can see that Ho Chi Minh City is dominates that with more than 50% of IT resources, and following by Hanoi and Da Nang City, and the less distributed for other locations in Vietnam. And for the gender, male still dominates the number of IT developers in Vietnam. The number of women joining the IT sectors in Vietnam is growing very fast recently, but still less than 10%. Okay, so now take a very quick look about the skill set of Vietnam software resources. With the most popular technologies nowadays, in 2021, according to the market research, JavaScript is still the most popular programming language. It's quite easy to understand, because JavaScript can be used to develop both backend and front-end applications with the chain development using React or Node.js. Three of the backend development programming language, Java, C#.NET, and PHP is following, with Spring or Struct for dominate the Java programming language, and .NET framework is the most majority of C#.NET, and Laravel for PHP. For the database part, MySQL and SQL servers in the number one, and SART or LAS is the top two for CSS. And one of the fastest growing or the hottest programming language, which is Python. Recently, we know a lot about this programming language, because it was using in programming for the data science, data analysis. And for the mobile development, Java, Swift, and Objective-C is still on top of the programming language that developer using for develop mobile application. But recently, React Native is the new player, and fastest growing. And I believe that in the near future, it will be the top one or two position in the most popular programming language or technology using for mobile application development. Okay, so take a look about the level of the Vietnam IT software developers. So answering for the question, which new technology you want to work with or learn in 2021? So DevOps, cloud, big data, machine learning, AI, or cybersecurity. So the candidate that developer want to work on or learn in this year, because you know, in the way of that digital transformation and the new problems all over the world raised by the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. So these are the technologies that the developer believe that they will be the most interested one. And for the industry or the domain that developer want to pay attention or to work in, it reflect the problems or the new trend in the digital transformation or the COVID-19 situation. So AI or cloud, fintech or payment, cybersecurity, and also the e-commerce or online shopping as well. And you take a very quick about the arrangement for the seniority for the most popular technologies. You can see that for the stable growing the programming language like C# or Java, the number of seniority developers is quite high comparing to the junior or fresher. But for the fastest growing, for the new one like Python, it's quite easy to see that the number of junior or fresher is very high comparing with the leader, the senior or middle level of developers. Okay, so talking a little bit about the cultures of Vietnam IT software service resources. Firstly, let's take a look about the how developers in Vietnam start learning the programming language, or how they can learn the new technology or new language, or how they can update the tech news. So according to the report recently we have, the majority of the channels that Vietnam IT developer using for starting learning programming language. So they learn from the university and colleges. But recently, the way that they used to start learning, they use the short-term training course, less than 24 months training course. And beside the official documentation using in the official education institution, the developer will also utilize the personal projects or the online training channel like a YouTube to learn the new technologies. And they mostly use the tech blog or tech event to update the tech news. And not unlike the international developer, they use Twitter, the social network Twitter to update the tech news. In Vietnam, developers they use the social communities like Facebook group or the tech fan page to update the tech news. So these are the very quick about how the developer work on learning and technologies. So talk a little bit about the working culture. So in the working environment, Vietnam IT resources are recognized as a very fast learning or hardworking, and they are now going improving the collaboration and teamwork skills very well. And most of the majority of the number of IT developer in Vietnam in the golden age and the young people, they are the millennials, they are the Gen Z, so they really want to balance between the working and the lifestyle. So they want to have more connectivity activity inside the working environment. So they want to have kind of activity for daily connection, like have lunch together, or they have happy hours every week, or they have the team building or summer meeting every quarter or by end of the year. And they really like to go travel together, and they really volunteer or enjoy to have the on-site trip to go to the customer side to work in abroad. And just want to share with you a little bit about how IT company, software company in Vietnam, like PT Software, how we do with the foreigner company, because in Vietnam, IT company just work like providing the IT resources, like extended team, extended arm for customer for the foreigner companies. So to adapt with the difference between the gap, the time zone. For example, in Australia, normally we have 3 or 4 hour different in time zone. So we utilize the overlap time hours between the two countries or two teams. So we arrange on the necessary daily activity for both teams, and we utilize other time slot the rest of the day to work and to finish the work, and the cycles begin again. So this is my very quick overview of the IT Vietnam IT resources and how skilled they are and how the culture we are working. So this is in the limitation of the time. I don't have enough time for into the very detail. So this is my my honor to communicate with you, and thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Wudingzi. It's very fruitful information that I think all of us needed to hear. So next up, I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Tim Huỳnh. He's the Director of Advanced Vision Technology, to share with us on experience in cooperation with Vietnamese ICT companies. So thank you, Mr. Tim. Please start. I think you're mute, Tim.
Please unmute yourself, please. We cannot hear you.
Hi, Tim.
We cannot hear you.
Chang, you have any way to contact me?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any ways to contact Mr. Tim?
He's here. I think he can hear us. However, I don't think.
Tim, if you are here, you can exit and join again. Right, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Let's start with your presentation, Tim.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we can.
All right, sorry about that. I've just put away my AirPods and onto the speaker. So I'll share the slides now.
Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim. I'm from Advanced Vision Technology. And I guess today I'm just giving you the point of view from an Australian customer point of view, working with partners in Vietnam, which is what I've been asked to do. AVTech have been around for a long time in Australia. We do have an office based in Ho Chi Minh City. I've been traveling back and forth for about 10 plus years now, so I know Vietnam a fair bit. I'm based in Melbourne, in Victoria, in Australia. And I guess today I'd like to sort of share some of my experience with you guys in terms of the success stories of working with other software providers in Vietnam. Just a quick intro about AVTech. What do we do? Just to get a bit of context of who we are, I guess. We provide consulting and project management in terms of ICT. We do a lot of managed services in relation to service desk and network operations center. That's sort of monitoring people's networks. The team or the department that I manage is actually the digital department, predominantly focusing on application integration and development. This is where I've gained a lot of my experience working with the partners in Vietnam. But we also do infrastructure delivery as well, a lot of cloud, networking, security, and disaster recovery. And of course, we do hardware and software procurement for ICT customers in Australia and New Zealand as well. These are some of the application integration and development projects that we've worked with in the past, just to give you a bit of an idea on the solution cloud here. A lot of process improvement and workflow, a lot of middleware, a lot of Microsoft applications, including mobile applications, a lot of data integration and consolidation, a lot of e-learning projects, and a lot of the e-commerce project, which is very popular in the last 2 years or so because of the pandemic. Now, just a little bit about the types of projects that we normally work with here in Australia and also with partners in Vietnam. We have two types of projects that Australian customers like to work with. The larger projects, customers in Australia like to work as fixed price projects. These are purpose-built applications and usually on a larger scale, which they like to know what the budgets are from the beginning. So usually we work quite thorough with our customers and our partners to qualify the requirements and to develop the specification hand in hand with our customers in order to formulate the fixed budget. The other type that is also very popular, particularly with the partners in Vietnam, is the time materials or offshore development team. I think some of you guys call it offshore development center. I call it a team because it's usually, from an Australian market perspective, customers like to have additional development skills as an extension of their own internal development team. So whether it's a mobile developer, whether it's a automation testing or a big data science developer, it's usually an extension of their own team in order to reduce cost. Now, when we do arrange these kinds of offshore development teams, it's usually managed by our team and or managed by the customers directly or both. Just to give you a bit of an idea about some of the projects that we've worked with in the past with partners in Vietnam. This one relates to IoT, Internet of Things. It's a very interesting and up and coming area, I think, in Australia, which is in the the agricultural business. So this particular customer wanted to utilize our skills as well as our offshore partner skills to develop irrigation management solution. So that's like, if you can imagine, very large farming land where the farmer sometimes isn't even on the actual farm themselves to look after the irrigation. So a lot of the IoT project we've done is to manage the irrigation, doing things like measure the soil water content, moisture within the soil, and to sense the weather pattern within the region, and to basically efficiently manage the watering of the farmland for these particular farmers. I'm not sure if you know, but in Australia, when you are a farmer, water is very expensive. Water is not free. So you have to pay a lot of money for your share of the water and irrigation within the Australian farmland. The other type of project we do relates to .NET, which I heard mentioned before, is for customers like the ANZ Bank, for example. A lot of internal projects within the bank. A lot of people think that a bank or financial institution has one core banking system. That is very false. Banks themselves have hundreds and thousands of different internal applications. Not one core banking system is not reality. And so we partner with people like the banks in order to develop a lot of internal applications. And often these applications have short to medium lifespan that don't necessarily have long lifespans, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, and then it gets shut down and then we start a new project again. The third one I'd like to talk about is what I think is the latest and greatest within the Australian sort of market, is utilizing a lot of the Office 365 application toolset that's released out there, which is the Power Apps, Power BI sort of type projects. I call this sort of low code, not high intense coding, but low coding. The reason why I sort of say that is a great opportunity is because there's a lot of customers in Australia who have invested in Office 365, who have embraced the Microsoft environment. And now Microsoft is releasing a lot of low code based technology and platform like Power Apps and Power BI that we are starting to get into a lot to develop business intelligence reporting, for example, for customers. Of course, in the last 2-3 years, it's been boosted a lot through the pandemic. I'm not sure about Vietnam, but in Australia, during lockdown, like we are in Melbourne this week, just been extended again for next week as well, is online shopping is very, very popular. Everything is purchasable online these days. And so there's a lot of small, medium and large companies that are boosting their sales, especially to the pandemics, with the their own sort of online e-store. You can buy almost anything online these days. And Australia has a very mature transport and logistics infrastructure as well. So things that are available in Australia in less than 1 week, once you pay for the item, you can get the goods at your doorstep, even during lockdown as well. I've been asked to give you a bit of an idea, for my own opinion, what factors make Vietnamese companies stand out from others. And this is coming from, I was born in Vietnam a long time ago. I have been in Australia for 40 plus years, so a long time. But I guess from the Australian perspective, what factors make Vietnamese companies stand out? I've listed here the pros, cons, and the opportunity. I'd like to go through some of these points a little bit more detail, if you don't mind. I think the great positive, and I'll list as the first one, is I think that Vietnamese technical talent and technical skills is right up there. I heard some slides about sort of top 4 or 5. I sort of tend to agree with that, maybe even sort of higher. I think technical skills in Vietnam is a little bit underrated, and I think it's going to grow in more popularity. I've actually personally worked with them, worked with partners in Vietnam, so I know the technical skills are quite high. Resources and people in general in Vietnam are hard workers, and so very dedicated, very hardworking. They do like to get things done. They do like to go the extra mile to get things done, to make customers happy. I've listed reactive there, and I wanted to say reactive to me means that, from my own experience working with Vietnamese staff, as in our own staff, as well as software development partners in Vietnam, they're very responsive because Vietnamese aim to please always. So the customer service is great and they're very responsive to issues and problems. Now, some of the cons I've listed there, just to be, I guess, balanced from an Australian point of view, is the downside of being technically talented is sometimes you focus probably too much on your programming skill sets, on your technical skill sets, and there needs to be probably a bit more focus on the business analysis side of it, the business communications and non-technical communications about the customer requirements, their business challenges, their business objectives, which often has nothing to do with technical languages or how a software is developed. And so just a little bit extra attention to the business analysis side of it, the non-technical communication will be what I want to encourage the partners in Vietnam to be aware of. Time equals money. I know you guys potentially have heard this a lot in movies, shows. A lot of Western people talk about this, less so in Asia because of the culture. In the West, in Australia, time does equal money, meaning technology is really applied in order to give companies some kind of competitive advantage over their competitors, or improving in productivity, or an urgent bug that needs to be resolved. All that relates to time and money. Yes, customers in Australia don't necessarily want to invest in being the IT expert. They prefer to outsource the IT expertise. But when problems are there to be resolved, they do want them to be resolved relatively quickly. That is the challenge, I guess, as well as the opportunity. And so, you know, when software applications are buggy because QA is poor, that means that you will come back and be able to fix it for the second time or the third time, but you also have to understand that that time that you spend doing it, cost is not an issue, but time does equal money to the customer. Proactive. Now, I've listed proactive there as a contradiction to reactive in the pro, is that I probably would challenge our partners in Vietnam, and just in general, when you want to outsource to countries like Australia, that don't just be responsive and react. And I just said before, you guys are quite fast at responding to problems. That's a big tick for me. But as far as being proactive and really understanding what the customer is trying to achieve from a business problem and a business challenge point of view, they are not necessarily the technical expert. So being a bit more aware from an extra point of view and being proactive at coming to the customer with ideas would go a long way to develop that long-term relationship with customers in Australia. In other words, studying the customer's business domain a little bit more rather than just relying your programming or your technology skill set to save you, I guess. So there, I guess I want to round up by saying the opportunity for both parties, not just for Vietnamese companies, in my opinion, is to continue to work hard to bridge the cultural gap. Time zone is an element of a culture gap, but also I think there's a little bit of a potential misleading understanding from some Australian companies who think that Vietnamese labor laws are not strict and staff should get up at 5 in the morning and work until sort of midnight. From my own, you know, account and understanding of the labor law in Vietnam, it's relatively formal, relatively strict, you know, 8:30 or 9 a.m. to sort of 5:30, sort of 6. So sort of understanding that and being able to appreciate the time zone. Vietnamese are very family oriented. Of course, they don't want to stay at work until midnight if they could help it. They do want to go home to their family. So just understanding the culture. And I don't want Australian companies to abuse that too much. And legally, the law in Vietnam, the labor law is also very strict as well. Employers don't want to abuse that too much. Business, the opportunity with business, as I said before, is that don't just rely on your technical programming talent, your technology talent, the technical skills that I already said the Vietnamese have a lot of. We'll start to work more on understanding the customer's business domain, whether they are manufacturing, agriculture, IT, logistics, whatever their domain is. Work a little bit hard to understand the domain, understand their business challenges, and that way you can be a lot more proactive at developing the ideas for the customers. Because sometimes the customers in Australia, they know their business problems, but they need your help to give them some ideas, a lot of on the business side. The communications gap, I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute, but just in general, I'm not necessarily talking about English either. I'm talking about just understanding the business analysis, the business language, the business problem, and presenting creative ideas on the business problem, more so than just the technical ideas. This is close to my heart. So I worked a lot with different Vietnamese companies. In fact, not just in Vietnam, but in Southeast Asia, including China as well. How do I measure when choosing international partners, sort of offshore? I'm speaking predominantly in the world of software development, application development, mostly. Is I look for the culture and the business and the communications fit. If I can just pretend that I'm a customer for a minute, because I am, we have a certain culture, we have a certain, set of business process, and we love to communicate in a certain way. So we look for partners who can fit in that culture and that business understanding and that set of communication criteria that we usually set. Otherwise, it's very difficult when you have pressing problems. You don't want to explain yourself, too much in this particular space. Flexible pre-sales capabilities. This is also close to my heart because as a IT service provider, not an end customer, we have a lot of end customers in Australia, having been around in the Australian market for 25 plus years. We often have gaps as far as technology is concerned. So we utilize partners in Vietnam, for example, to help us with pre-sales, proof of concept type projects prior to winning the actual big project. So we don't just talk about jumping into a project and getting started on the project in terms of production. We talk about trying to convince our customers to go with us on a particular project. So the pre-sales assistance, the proof of concept is often the kind of help we need as well. Experience and solutions oriented, not just technical. As what I've been saying, we look for our partners' level of experience, whether it be IoT, whether it be .NET, whether it be business intelligence reporting or whatever, data science. We look for the partner's experience and solutions and what types of solutions they've have in this particular space and to show us the type of solutions. I guess a lot of partners often are too quick to nod their head, make lots of promises, but find it difficult to show their experience and solutions that they've actually done in the past. Maturity in methodology, process, and accountability structure. So let me explain that. We have a software development methodology. We're happy to embrace your methodology, but the methodology is what makes our projects efficient. So come with that, we have a lot of processes that we actually follow. So we like partners who have similar processes as well. And accountability really means you can do the work, you can be technically strong, you can understand your role, but you need to be accountable as well for the work that you do. And the structure just means that we don't necessarily just like to talk to the developers directly, but we like to talk to the structure within the process. the BAs, the project managers, the people who are going to be accountable for the entire delivery, and understand what the methodology is and the people following the processes. Lastly, I did put this last deliberately because money is not the key criteria for me, but value for money. Of course, at the end of the day, budget and cost does have a play, because Vietnam often competes with the likes of India, Sri Lanka, sometimes Indonesia these days, as similar sort of costs comparisons from a software development perspective in Southeast Asia, similar time zones as well. So people always after the best value for money. I don't like to use the word lowest cost. I don't think that word is correct. I think the best value for money in comparison with what you're delivering, because skill sets and solutions differ in cost, and I do understand that customers in Australia do need to understand that as well. That's it for me, Claire.
Yes, thank you so much. Before we start going on to Mr. Thành Trần from Success Software, please note that you can type your questions in the chat, and then we can answer at the end of the meeting today. So I would like to welcome Mr. Thành Trần to speak about the Vietnam can become an innovation hub. So please, yeah, I can see your contents now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, okay. So thank you, Jan and Vanessa.
We can see your
ladies and gents.
We can see your notes, the speaker's notes.
Okay.
Okay, anh Thành, can you click on the display settings and change the settings?
All right. So can you see it now?
You're using two screens, right?
Yeah, I'm using two screen. Give me a sec. I'm sorry. All right, is it better now?
We still see the notes.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Please go ahead.
All right, so let me go with this way. Can you still see the screen, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
All right, okay. So let us see this way. All right, so thank you for having me. My name is Tan. I'm the founder and director of Success Software Services. So we started the company in just a quick intro. We established the company in late 2012 and early 2013, and we have became a global provider of digital consulting and software development services. So we have a range of satisfied customers spanned 4 continents and an array of industries. And with the world-class delivery center located in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, with around 200 software engineers right now, our distributed teams rival the best engineering teams to be found anywhere. So we are both a people-oriented and process-driven organization, and having achieved CMI level 3 and ISO 9000 designations, and we maintain a best-in-class agile practices. So to begin with, saying innovation is important because Vietnam has been known as a destination for outsourcing. Besides, Vietnam is among the 50 leading economies in the world and has made tremendous progress since the post-Vietnam War era. Despite the hit that we took during the COVID-19 pandemic, we were still the fastest growing economy, and with a GDP growth of around 2.7%. So this economic transformation has increased the presence of global tech giants in Vietnam. Notably, the country has continuously attracted substantial foreign direct investments in various areas, including electronics and textiles manufacturing. The investors are building numerous research and development centers across the country in areas of new technologies, such as blockchain. You can see AI, IoT, establishing Vietnam as an R&D hub ahead of its competitors in Southeast Asia, not just a destination of outsourcing. A very good example of the newly registered project is the more than 200 million US dollar R&D center being developed by Samsung in the north. And to establish itself as one of the global tech giants in Vietnam, the company Samsung aims to complete the project by some other examples like US-based chip company like Qualcomm also opened its R&D center in Vietnam in June 2020, last year, making this the company's first R&D facility in the Asian region. So the R&D center comprises 4 laboratories for developing camera technologies, wire technology, and enhancing the battery performance. Grab, LG Electronics, or Panasonic, or Toshiba have also chosen Vietnam as an R&D hub to set up their laboratories. So Vietnam's large youth population, as you may notice from previous presentations, is a point of attraction for global investors. So this is an excellent opportunity for your companies from Australia because you can easily hire bright minds to help you scale and progress. So speaking about startup example, according to the newly released Q1 this year Vietnam Startup Report by Nextrans Vietnam, so the total value of investments in Vietnam startups in the first quarter reached more than 100 million US dollar. Thus, the total investment value increased by about 34%, including unpublished investment. Excluding unpublished investment. And the number of investment deals in early 2021 decreased by 20%. However, reaching only 16 deals. However, this is quite low compared to 20 deals in last year and 30 deals in the previous year, the year before that. However, the value of the investments increased. The report emphasizes that the international investors are outperforming domestic ones in both quantity and the value of investment. So up on the industries that draw attention from the startup coming to Vietnam, fintech startups ranked at first with 4 deals out of 6, accounting for 40%, and followed by the logistics, accommodation, real estate, education, and healthcare. Experts say that the investors are investing mainly in financial technology, e-commerce, online education, enterprise solutions, and logistics. So investment funds play a very important role in promoting the rapid development of the startup economies in Vietnam. And there are nearly 180 investment funds in the country, including big names like Vietnam Silicon Valley Capital or Mekong Capital. Along with the investment funds from Singapore and Korea, large enterprises in Vietnam are also one of the key sources of investment for the Vietnam startup market. In this year, large enterprises in Vietnam have started building a startup ecosystem, investing as well as partnering with merged startup. Having said that, Vietnam has a great chance to learn from very successful model on low over the world, like Harvard, and such practice have an employment onward. So the trendy skills and technologies like AI, IoT, or big data, data analytics, also called top dollar skills, are resource rare everywhere, right? Hence, we can build an army of those skills in Vietnam by partnering with universities in Vietnam to train up on those top technology. So I believe with the joint hands of your companies from Australia, similar to other companies coming from other countries, Vietnam will become soon a destination of innovation in the near future, not just the destination of outsourcing. Thank you for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Tang. And for to continue with Mr. Tang's speech, I would like to introduce Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Lộc, the head of market research, Global Center from Viettel Solution Corporation, to present the business use cases of digital transformation in technology from Vietnam.
Hello, everyone. Frank, can you give me a share?
Yeah.
It's okay now.
Yep, I got it.
Yeah.
Everyone can see the slide at the moment?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Lộc from Viettel Solutions Corporation. And thank you for the opportunity for speaking today. I'm really excited because I have 6 years in Australia and I would love to look forward for good business between the two countries. And in the presentation today, I would like to mention a few digital transformation technologies and business use cases that are significant from Vietnam enterprises, specifically from Viettel and Eastgate Software. First, I would like to quickly go through Viettel as the biggest ICT provider for government and enterprises in Vietnam. We are the 24th most valuable telco brand in the world. And also Viettel is operating in 10 global countries, including Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, East Timor, Peru, Haiti, Mozambique, Burundi, Tanzania, and Cameroon. And the benefit is being present in this market help Viettel develop experience in working in an international environment and also open up greater market opportunities for Viettel partners. The corporation has a wide range of technology ecosystem, including 5G technology, IoT, AI blockchains, system integration, security, customer experience, data analytics, cloud computing, and RPA. So now I'm gonna mention a few use cases of Viettel based on different industry. Regarding educations, we provide database service for around 5,000 schools around Vietnam. We have school management software for 23,000 schools in 61 out of 63 provinces. We have a exam management system for 2 million users from 6,500 schools. Regarding health sector in Vietnam, Viettel is giving the best effort to help the community prevent COVID-19 pandemic, and especially in the fall wave at the moment. Viettel developed a national electrical health book application that helps Vietnam citizens manage health information and register for vaccination. And up until today, there are more than 5.3 million users who register for vaccination via these applications. And the blockchain technology is behind that for personal information security, and the application can integrate with telehealth platform. Regarding transportation sector, Viettel is deploying e-pass solution. I think it's similar to Link in Australia. You don't have to stop to pay for your toll fee while driving. Also, Viettel has an IoT device named Vika, which can help driver driving safely and the passengers connect to fast Wi-Fi during a journey. Regarding banking, finance, and retail, Viettel has a significant AI solutions is Cyberbot, the automatic 24/7 customer interaction. Cyberbot is a combination of Vietnamese language, callbot, and chatbot using automated speech recognition technology, text-to-speech technology, and NLP, natural language processing, with higher than 95% of accuracies. This AI solution improves customer experience, reduce cost, time, and can scale up quickly. One of the example of scale up quickly is the Cyberbot was used in Hải Dương province, north of Vietnam, that have calling millions of citizens to stay at home during previous COVID-19 outbreak. And personally, I believe Cyberbot is potential as we have large Vietnamese community in Australia. I think it's come second after the Vietnamese community in the USA. And also Viettel has a reputation for software named vOffice that are used by many large bank and government departments. Regarding telecom industry, Viettel apply artificial intelligence and data analytics solution to improve the company performance. In details, after deploying the data lake and data analytics solutions, Viettel Telecom can increase upsell and cross-sell from 1.4 to up to 5.4 times, reduce 54% churn rates, increase 3 times prepaid convert to postpaid. Those are quickly some of the solution from Viettel, and currently the corporation is looking for trusted partners with creative solutions and complement Viettel product ecosystem. Given that the potential is not only for Vietnam or Australia market, but also for 10 other global markets. Next, I would like to move on and talk about Eastgate Software. It is another company attended in this event, and I would happily to give a use case about AI advanced IoT. So as far as we know, IoT sensors will allow collection of vast amount of data, whereas AI can help derive intelligence for devising smarter applications for a smarter world. And the client suite of smart home solution provides a unified view of all energy devices and water outlet running in your home through one easy-to-use application. They designed to gain insights into home appliances and take actionable steps to reduce the carbon footprint. As a result, they need a patent-pending AI technology that could help the users save money by learning their routine, automatically optimizing the water heating and providing solutions. The challenges are the client expects to create machine learning models that can be used to classify or predict several metrics from limited non-labeled data informations. And the data consists of temperature information of heat device and water level within the main outlet pipe. The model must prove to achieve correct accuracies in a testing environment and real-time or near real-time performance. Training is expected, and furthermore, the module must be used in a distributed computing environment on a server with prior hardware constraint. And the solution from Eastgate Software is that as an AWS partner, Eastgate Software design and builds a pipeline solution using AWS that meet each requirement of clients. In particular, the pipeline has various abilities such as give prediction of temperatures of heating device, classify which water appliances are running at a given time, detect anomaly within electric or water uses of customers, and then estimate the possible energy saving. The output is the appliance prediction return a result of 95% accuracy from limited informations. The anomaly detections gives a result of 95% of accuracy on experimental testing. Yep, I think that's the end of my presentation. Again, thank you everyone for the time, and I'm looking for the business meeting tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So far, we have received 2 questions. So I'm having a the first question is from Mr. Thiên Nguyen from Asia Deal Hub, a digital supplier sourcing platform provider that works with industrial manufacturers in the country. So the question is from Ms. Zhang. He asks, a problem we usually see is a technology gap between the major cities and other provincial areas where most industrial zones are based. So, for example, there are even companies that have yet to establish a functional website, not to mention a website with a multi-languages interfaces. This hinders their capability to attract foreign partners a lot. What can Vinasa do to help them tackle this issue? And are there any initiatives or policies to help them?
Yeah, hello. And thanks for the question. I also just dropped the answer to the chat. But here I will yes, quick, yeah, very fast about this question. So yes, at the moment there will be gaps between the level of ICT application between the companies in the big or the smaller cities in Vietnam. I think, but mostly I think that now most of the companies, the SME companies in Vietnam are having their website. But of course, I think for some business, like for family business or very small business, women or yeah, they still don't have. But I think they would do. But most of the software, the SME companies in Vietnam are now having their website. And yeah, as you may know that the government of Vietnam just signed the digital transformation program to the year 2025 and the and orientation to the year 2030. So based on that, the government encourage all the ministry organizations, businesses apply ICT software and solutions. And yeah, there are several programs to support the SME in Vietnam to do it. So Ministry of Information and Communication also have a program to support with SME. They gather about more than 10 companies, about 12 to 13 software companies to provide the solutions or software for SME to provide with very good offer for SME when they buy or use the solutions. And Ministry of planning and investment also in cooperation together with linked SME sponsored by USAID and also with Vinasa also have a MOU to join a support for the SME in Vietnam in digital transformation program. And based on that, now Vinasa is building the digital transformation framework for SME, and our Vinasa member who are the solution and services provider will have very good offer for the SME when they apply the ICT solution from them. And yeah, from the ministry side, the Ministry of Planning and Investment will with support from the USS also have some subsidiary for the consulting services, and also for the SME when they buy the software or solutions to apply in their business. And yeah, Vinasa is now working very closely with them to do that. And as I mentioned, that Vinasa is now building the digital transformation framework for SME for manufacturing area and also for some about 10 other industry. So I think that if we can keep with the plan, in September we can announce that framework, and we already talked with the Ministry of Planning and Investment, the SME or enterprise supporting department, and on how to support and providing subsidiary for this SME. So I think that it will help for the digital transformation process in Vietnam. Yeah. So I hope that it can answer the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Jiang. I hope that answered your question, Mr. Tian. Yeah, he said that was helpful, so thank you. So the next question is from Mr. Tuấn Nguyen. He's from Digital and Vision Limited Company. So he has a question for Mr. Tim. Could you please describe a bit more on pre-sales capability and mainly on what are some examples that you have requested the Vietnamese team before?
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me, Claire?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you also.
My AirPods are working now. It wasn't working before. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
A great question. I'm glad someone asked, because this is an area that's actually quite close to my heart, and it's an area that I definitely want to dig deeper to try to help the Vietnamese suppliers in Vietnam improve from an Australian perspective, but I also understand where you guys are coming from as well. Is that being an SI or a solutions provider in Australia, and we have been here for a long time, since '92, we have a large pool of customers of all sorts of industry markets. You name it, we have these type of customers. I can go on for a long time. So often customers have business challenges, and you never know what these business challenges are. But one of the key criteria, or one of the key constraints, is always time and budget. So they would like to often know during the initial engagement, what would it cost? How long would it take? Can you achieve these particular goals? They are not going to jump in and say, yep, we would like to choose you, go out for dinner and we'll choose you. In Australia, people don't do that. People don't go out for dinner and then win a project. It doesn't work. Vietnam, yes. In Australia, no, right? So it's often, a very professional level of showcase, like, we have a problem. Firstly, do you understand the problem? Are you able to work with us and communicate with us? And then finally, what is the high level solution? So we're talking about usually developing very short pre-sales. We call them pre-sales. It's just a name for non-chargeable. We can't bill the customers and we can't charge the customers. Pre-sales is just our industry definition for non-billable. So we usually do that through small proof of concept, through presentations, through showcasing some of the previous experiences of similar projects we've done, through demonstrations. So all of those factors come into play, but it's usually comes with providing some kind of professional proposal at no cost to give the customer the closest level of experience in terms of seeing that you've got the capability. And that's the sort of help that we often need, because we have lots of customers, we have lots and lots of opportunities, but we don't have enough resources, hence wanting to work with Vietnam to try to play out these pre-sales opportunities and hopefully win the deal together. I always have a saying with partners in Vietnam when it comes to pre-sales: we win together, we lose together. It's that simple.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope this helped for Mr. Tuấn Nguyen. And also we have another one coming from Mr. Tien. So the questions for both Mr. Tim and Mr. Duy from FSoft Australasia. Can you please share some insights that Vietnamese ICT companies would need to know about expanding their operation to Australia or work with Australian partner. So he suggests that it could be about Australian regulations, culture, and people.
Would you like me to start, Claire?
Yeah, you can start, and then Mr. Zui can continue that.
Okay. So if Vietnamese ICT company want to invest in a place like Victoria or in Melbourne in Victoria, I'm sure you know I live here, so I like Melbourne in Victoria. You know, it is in my opinion a long journey and a sizable investment from a budget perspective. I don't know exactly who's asking the question in terms of whether, you know, the idea about the cost and the budget, because Australia, of course, you know, the cost is much higher than in Vietnam. The tax incentive, the type that was presented before, that I know very well in Vietnam because I went through that when I launched our business operation in 2007. They don't really exist to that level like in Vietnam. So it's not as good as Vietnam as far as the tax incentive is concerned. So I would definitely recommend as a starting point is to partner. I'm not saying that because of, you know, work with me, Tim from AV Tech, but the partnering means that you get to spend time with a partner to be able to learn from the partner, yeah, through the transition of wanting to exist in Australia long term. And after you partner, after 1, 2, or 3 years, once you get more comfortable with understanding the market here, you can go off and branch out on your own and decide, you know, which city you want to expand into and which type of market you want to expand into. That's my comment.
Yeah, Mr. Zui, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I think I can add 1 or 2 more points regarding to the regulation that we need to deal with when working with the Australian customers. Because as you know that in Australia, there's some regulation that require the IT company providing the IT services to follow, like you know, like for example, the individual, the personal information cannot be sent out of the Australia border. So in case that you provide the service like the data analytics, you need to send the people to Australia to stay in Australia to do the job, or you just can to interact with our information, personal information from Vietnam, for example. And some other regulation is quite different with comparing with Vietnam. It like in the banking finance sectors. So the way that the structure of the information or the bank regulation is different between 2 countries. So you need to, you know, invest to get more about the Australia regulation to to make a, you know, when you meet the customer or potential customer, you can prepare for better proposals to meet their needs. You know, you can make sure that from the beginning of the proposal that the solution or proposal can meet the regulation for Australia. And some of the points related to experience working with Australian customers from FPT software. So one of the points that they, you know, the Australian customers quite, you know, rarely to take the uncertain risks. They want to deal with the known risks, already known the risks. That does mean that they can, you know, work with current vendor with you know, a little bit low quality, but better than, you know, work with the new guy, which they don't know about the quality, or they haven't has experience working with. So the opportunity that they work with the new vendors is less than they work with the current vendors. That means that the percentage of accepting the risk from Australian customers less than other markets, as I know. And communicating with the Australian customers, they expect not only the pre-sales or the sales person to work with them, but also in terms of the project level, they are also expecting the developers working directly with their team. So they expect to the direct communication daily. They expect the developer can speak out when joining the meeting with the customer team. So you can speak out your idea. You can react to their needs and express your understanding about their issues or the problems or their needs. So it's not reactive, sitting there to say nothing. Maybe you understand, but if you don't speak out, so the Australian customer doesn't like that. So that's one some experience or information I can add. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much. So due to time limits, we cannot receive any questions. However, you could send your questions to my email at changtnh@vinasa.org.vn, so we can redirect them to our speakers from today. So thank you everyone for joining. It is our pleasure to host you on this seminar today. Yes.
Right. Yes. I don't know whether the attendee can speak here, but I can see in the list, Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Lệ is the chairman of TMA. I really would like to invite anh Lệ to share some information. Anh Lệ, are you still there? Okay, so just finish it, Claire.
Yes, okay. So yes, thank you very much. I hope that you will all have a better point of view, and soon we'll have your action plan and long-term cooperation with Australian or Vietnamese companies. Thank you very much for your presence, and I wish you all health and prosperity.
Thank you
very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.